Hey everyone, how's it going this morning? Welcome to another morning motivation. Listen, we're going to talk about the three types of shoes that I used pre-COVID and how they fit into not just workouts, but how they fit into daily life. And while we're talking about this, I should have done this before. I'm just going to go ahead and I want to set up our jam board here just to see if we can maybe perhaps sketch out a new way of an example of how you can actually use this in real life. Okay, so here's the first shoe that I've used, and remember, what you want to do is first take this video not as scientific as much as it is my personal experience of being intentional on knowing the kinds of shoes to wear when you're working out. If it's light, if you're not really that serious into it, you may not think about the kind of shoe to wear. Some of us, though, also on maybe on the other end, where you think that you have to have the most expensive shoe and you don't. So here's the first type that I've had. I've used these when it's just light, when I'm just stretching. Y'all probably have seen these before. These are Skechers, and you can see how worn they are, and they had like memory foam in them, so you probably can't even see the label in there anymore, I don't think, but it should say in there like memory foam. So that's the first one. I liked these because of the padding on the inside. Now I also use these as like daily shoes as well at one point. Clearly, now they're probably yard shoes, but just walking around in them felt comfortable, being able to, just do some light. When I say light, maybe calisthenics, and not even that. Some people, they do some, really heavy, really into some deep calisthenics that borderline, high intensity interval training, or high intensity interval training. So that's the first one. The second one, so those are for light stretching, and if I'm just going to the gym and just kind of, I'm not going to take it hard. Here's the next one, and this is where things are going to get interesting for some of you. If I'm running, oh, and I don't know how much those cost, by the way. This is not really about price for this particular one. I'm just telling you that if are going to the gym and you're not really needing to do that much kind of an intense workout, get very comfortable shoes. The ones with the memory foams are really good. If I'm running, a lot of y'all know what these are. The Nike Pegasus. No, they're not cheap, but I was doing more running actually at one point, and I think these are like the Nike they call them the Nike Zooms. And the cool thing with this is I think when I was also doing this one, and when I was kind of like researching what's the best shoe to use, I was actually looking at the actual app, and it can actually show you like the kind of designs or different ways of how you can actually use this. So here's the Nike Pegasus Zoom again, really cool. And the reason why they're cool is because they feel so great when you run. As a matter of fact, it's intentional. The reason why the bottom is orange and like why do they create them like this is so that when you're running, you can actually be seen. So it's not like reflectors, even though I think there might be reflectors in there. I don't think so. The reflectors are on the back, like right there, but you can tell it's a very weird shape, but it's shaped that way because when you actually hit the ground, when you strike the ground, it absorbs uh, your pressure, or absorbs the kind of like in Black Panther when they're like hitting him and then all of a sudden he has all this charge built up. Think of the Nike Pegasus as those, and this is the Nike Pegasus 35. Probably can't see it, but if you look closely, it says 35 right there. Okay, that's number two. Here are the other ones. Now, when I used to do weight training, I know you're probably like, weight training, you don't even look like you can lift 135. Like, what are you talking about? Yes, done weight training. Cross trainers. As a matter of fact, guys, these are my oldest pair. I've had these for probably maybe 10 years. Now, somebody may argue, oh my goodness, it is time to change these up. I would argue though that these are New Balances. I don't know what kind of cross trainers they are. New Balance Energy, the 1011s. Um, I couldn't tell you. You can probably see like with these how old they are, but the treading is kind of still there, guys. Like, because all I really have done in these, I'd never really ran in them except for perhaps maybe the treadmill before getting running shoes. This is really for weight training for me. So why am I showing you three different kinds of shoes? Well, depending on how or what you're doing, you can actually affect your muscles, your ligaments, depending on the kind of workout that you're doing. So if you guys are just tuning in, go back and take a look at the three pairs of shoes that I was showing you that I used to work out. Why is this important? Let me tell you why this is important. So lately, while I was doing burpees, I started to realize that my foot was kind of feeling a little strained, and it's because I haven't really been doing indoor workouts lately with any shoes on. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think that when I really did the 70 last week, I think it put a strain on, on my foot. And so it's probably time, if I'm going to be doing more intense workouts, especially and more consistently, I'm going to need something that's going to cushion that fall. Now, one could argue, you're just probably building up your muscle, and eventually it'll work out. Maybe, but you want to be safer than sorry. So here's an example of why your shoes matter, not just in workouts but also in real life. So cross training shoes, I just googled this, literally I just googled this, and it says that cross training shoes are meant to be a decent all-purpose fitness shoe for use in a number of activities, from basketball to Zumba to lifting weights. Before I got the New Balance, I actually did. I'm pretty sure 10 years ago, I did the research. I was like, what's the best shoe for working out? Cross trainers is it? Believe it or not, people that really work out too, they wear Chucks. They wear the Converse shoes that because they're flat, and one of the things with working out, you don't want to work out in running shoes. The cushion is different, the weight is different, it's the absorption is different, and so you can actually, in a sense, kind of throw you off balance a little bit if you are working out with running shoes when they're talking about like lifting weights, and vice versa. You don't want to run in your Converses, in your Chucks. Like that's suicide to your heels, right? And so you want to wear the right shoes. So here it is, where cross training shoes are meant to be all purpose, right? But take a look at this. Running shoes are designed to absorb shock on your heels. Cross training shoes have more cushioning in the forefoot, protecting you when you land on your toes. For those of you that know about burpees, when you do that push out, you squat, you push out, you're hitting on the toes, right? And then when you come back in, you're hitting on the toes, or at least in the forefront of your feet. And then when you jump up and come back down, you are landing, if you're landing correctly, on the ball or the front of your toes, and then maybe you might hit on your heels. But you're doing it so quickly that you might not even strike your heels that fast. You might just hit the ball and then come right back down, and then do it all over again. So I say all of that to say that when I started to get very deep into the healthcare space, and maybe very deep is probably relative, but when I started to get deeper into the healthcare space, from a UX perspective, there are two things that struck me. Okay, here's the first one. The first one is, and let's see if I can go ahead and share this screen. Share the screen with you here. It'll be untitled for now. The first thing that struck me is, okay, so I want to be, I want to be a UX designer, in the healthcare space. So healthcare, UX, there's two things that I needed to know. I needed to understand, what is healthcare all about? And not just healthcare, I wanted to understand the business side of healthcare. And I needed to understand some of the more of the nuances of UX design. So what did I do? I did an MBA. Now, you don't have to do this. This was my process. I did an MBA with a healthcare focus. Guys, I didn't just do a general MBA. Like, my MBA has a healthcare concentration. So now that I'm done, even though I feel like things are more complicated than they are before, I said to myself, okay, if I want to be able to specialize in a particular part of UX design in a particular industry, what would I do? What do I think I need to understand? You don't have to go down this route, but this was one of the shoes that I decided to wear. Okay. Getting a degree, instead of learning it as I went along, I was like, you know what? I want to learn from other professors. I want to learn in a structured environment from people who already know the ins and outs, the nuances, the bureaucracy, the ethics, the laws, whatever, of the healthcare space. And I'm glad that I did, because the healthcare doesn't seem as complicated. In other words, I know what to look for now after taking this degree. It's not really about, and I had to, the the postgraduate degree, or maybe postgraduate is doctorate, but the graduate degree, the title master's, can be misleading for you to feel as if you need to master the thing. The thing that I have mastered was understanding how to find more about the topic, learning how to research about the thing, and then being able to synthesize or to create my own framework based on the stuff that I've researched. You're not supposed to know everything about the topic after you graduate. It just doesn't work. Okay. So here's the other thing though. For UX design, I decided to take I know my handwriting sucks. I decided to take a certification. That's another structural way of learning how to do the discipline. So I've got these two shoes that I'm wearing, right? The first shoe, and I'm just going to go ahead and try to draw a shoe here. See if we can. Oh, that's the Pegasus. That's the Nike Pegasus right there. So that's the first shoe, was for healthcare. And then the second shoe, let's make it a boot, was for design. And what I'm going to do, or have done, is combined these two together so that when I'm in the healthcare space, I know what shoes to wear, right? I know what hat to wear. I know what role that I kind of maybe have to shift to in order to talk to particular people, especially doctors, like clients who speak healthcare. And when I'm on the UX side of things, here's the interesting thing. I'm not wearing two different shoes. I'm wearing a boot and a sneaker. Although what's going to eventually happen is they are going to coalesce and I'm going to create my own special, and I don't know what this is going to look like, shoe. I have to like squeeze it in now at the bottom. We'll call them the CBs. Yeah. Anyway, what I'm saying is this, guys. Now that we have, for me, now that we have a set here, because I've done a workout that deals with healthcare this year. I finished it this year. I've done a workout this year that dealt with UX design. Now it needs to come all together, right? That's where the UX portfolio comes in. That's where doing case studies comes in. That's where now I can apply, based on what workout I'm doing, I can apply the right shoes, guys. So what does that all mean for you? What that means for you is you need to figure out, first of all, what workout are you doing? What goals are you trying to achieve? What's the thing? What's the end game? So for me, the end game is to be, and I just want to switch over here for a second. The end game for me is I want to be able to have authority in the, not management consulting, but I call it strategic frameworking. It's probably not even a legitimate, or I would not say legitimate, but a proper title, an official, maybe is the more word. It's not an official title, but I know how to framework things. I know how to create or to use other people's, like when I say other people's, like McKinsey and Company has like an entire framework, so other people's or organizations frameworks, make them my own and then apply it in a hopefully a simpler way for other people, ID clients or for individuals. And so the way that I'm going to do that though is by using particular shoes. I got one shoe in the healthcare space. I got another shoe in the UX space. Don't try to get too many shoes. I told you I only got 3 pairs. And the deeper that you get into the kind of workouts that you're doing, you'll start to realize you're not going to wear certain like I don't wear these anymore when I go work out. It's only if I really am just kind of forgotten, or for whatever reason, I'm just like, okay, today is a cheat day, or I'm just like taking it light. But if I'm running, I'm wearing my running shoes. If I know that I'm probably going to exercise, but I really am trying to lift weights, so I know I'm going to hit the treadmill just for a little bit to get it going. I'm not going to bring 2 different shoes, guys. Maybe some people do that, and depending on maybe your feet, you probably need to, or your muscles or whatnot, you probably have to. I don't have to do that, right? Maybe I should, but the point is, I know what the end game is. The end game for that day is, let's say, working out legs. Today's a leg day, but it's not a running day for the legs. It's like, weight resistance. So I'm going to just wear the cross trainers, do a little jog. Don't try to run all, for the entire workout, because then it defeats the purpose, but then wear my all purpose cross trainers. Problem is, a lot of you have a challenge with just wearing your cross trainers or your all purpose for everything. Stop wearing your all purpose for everything. Find a thing that you're really good at, or at least dive into something that you may or may not know if you're good at, and then find the proper shoes. As a matter of fact, I would say this: don't try to find or buy the shoe before you're trying to figure out the workout. For some of you, and I'm speaking philosophically here, so don't go ahead and mess up your legs and all of that, because of what I'm saying is this: find the specific workout, find the specific niche, and then as you're in it, you will realize, oh snap, my ankle is starting to feel a little funny. Yeah, because you need the right shoes. Wear the right shoes. I think being in a particular niche, a deeper niche, is going to cause you to actually have to figure out, okay, what is the proper cushioning that I need? Oh, I need the Nike Pegasus Zoom 35s. Well, guess what? Go on ahead and get the Nike Pegasus Zoom 35s. But then you realize, well, I'm not really running as much. What do I need? Maybe you do need cross trainers. Okay, so I think I've hit the I think I've made the point repetitiously now. So once again, figure out your goals. So here's mine. Here's mine, and then we'll end. So my goal is this. Let me just switch over here so that let's just make this bigger for you. So if my goal is to have the world's leading strategic frameworking company for kingdom building, that's what it is. So let's put here my goal: strategic framework. Maybe it's a name that I just make up. This is the business that I'm looking for. And one of the missions, or the main mission, is I want to help frustrated leaders really do one thing: realign their gift, because this is what I struggled with, guys, with their purpose. Like, I want to be able to help them to do that so they can live a meaningful life. Well, how am I going to do that? Well, I'm choosing to work in the healthcare space, or at least to do certain things that's going to reflect the healthcare space. And not only that, I'm doing it through two disciplines, so to speak: strategy and design. So what I decided was, okay, if I'm going to be in healthcare, I remember being a part of one client, and I really appreciate the fact being a part and doing some work with one client that opened my eyes to realizing I don't really know too much about healthcare. Blew my mind. I said, wow, this is humbling. Okay, so I didn't know the difference between a payer and a provider, guys. Like, I didn't know the difference between even the payer with an ER and the payor with the OR, and sometimes people make them synonymous. Sometimes they're a little bit different. What a payee was, and I'm thinking the payee is the person that goes into the hospitals. Actually, no, that is. So it was this whole idea, and the structure of healthcare was so confusing to me. I said, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to learn the business of it, because I am trying to do consulting or strategy from a UX side, but I don't know the business nuances of it. Boom, shoe number one. Actually, the design part with UX was really shoe number one. But then I was like, okay, you know what? Well, I need to go ahead and get a certification. The certification isn't so that I can tack another label on myself. The certification was for me to have a solid foundation and also a portfolio, but then the portfolio wasn't related. So I said, you know what, I need to do another one. But the point is, it was to have a really strong foundation into understanding where I fit in the UX world. It was to figure out which shoe I actually should wear. And you're probably struggling with that. Some of you are struggling with this idea that just because I took the class, the course, the program, that I should be outside of like a doctoral realm. That's a little bit different. I should know exactly the fit of the shoe. No, that's not really how that works. What you will most likely come across with is realizing, oh, wait a minute, I now know what shoe fits me for the area that I want to be in. So I realized in UX that I was more of a researcher. So now I'm wearing the shoe of a researcher here. So what I learned in healthcare was I was really passionate about the M health space. UX, research. So what does that mean? It means a few things for me. One of the things that I realized is I am very passionate about design systems. So now I got very specific in UX. I was very passionate about customer journey maps, customer journeys and user personas and all of that. Very passionate. I just wrote that here as well. M Health, the digital spaces for M Health means mobile health. So like online appointment scheduling and maybe even mobile clinical assessment tools or things like that. At one point, I thought it was EHRs because I used an EHR and I was so frustrated with it. But nah, I'm even more passionate about how the websites are designed for individuals, clients, or hospitals, patients who are trying to just either schedule an appointment or they just struggle with trying to find the right information. The information is there; it's just the layout it's terrible. And so all they need to do is they just need to hire first a UX person who can then send it to the developer who can work it all out. So anyway, and then you got the UI person as well. But the point is, I narrowed down specifically what I am trying, what shoes I need to wear in order to run or to lift or to maximize the workout that I'm in. So, all that says, guys, is that you need to figure out what you want to do. That's the first thing that you got to do. You have to figure out for yourself what workout, what goal, what achievement, what is the end game for me. Figure that out first. And I guarantee you, don't waste time. Hey, listen, some of y'all waste time in the store trying to find the right shoe, wasting money on the most expensive shoe when all y'all doing is going and stretching out and all you need is some Skechers. Don't waste time. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your money. Actually, immerse yourself in the workout first. Now, obviously, if you're going to do some weight training, you probably might want to ask somebody, right? Ask a consultant, ask somebody who's in the store. Well, what's the best workout? What's the best shoe for me? That's probably the other best thing that you can do is asking somebody who is hopefully knowledgeable and can give you an honest answer without trying to sell you the most expensive product in their store. Okay, guys. So I'm looking forward to some of the feedback that you might have for just understanding and maybe even experiencing the fact that you might have some expensive shoes and you're not even using them, or you might have wasted a lot of time in the store trying to find the right shoe, and then you start doing workouts and you realize that's not the right shoe or that's not the right fit or the comfort for me, or there are different experiences. How does that relate to your real life? Okay, so this is we had Make It Monday. This is Take It Tuesday. All right, let's make it a good one. No, let's take it to another level. I think we're gonna do it that way. Be blessed, guys, and we'll see you in the next morning motivation.